Welcome back into another edition of Star V Sundays alongside Joe Bulovas. I'm your host, Billy Derrick. And again, we're always brought to you by Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. We'll get to some of Joe's info a little bit later, but I do want to introduce a very special guest, Mr. Jordan Matthews, of course, Vanderbilt legend, one of the best wide receivers in the history of the program, recently added to the staff as an offensive consultant. Obviously, as a Commodore, set records that still hold today, including season and career receptions. It still ranks first in SEC history for total catches, set the program record for receiving yards in a single season back in 2013 with 1,477, breaking his own record from the previous year, and then was selected in the second round of the 2014 draft by Philadelphia, spent 11 seasons at the NFL level before, of course, returning to West End. Jordan, can't thank you enough for taking the time, man. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thank you for that intro. It's kind of crazy how full circle this thing has been, right? But I'm glad to be back. It's been fun, obviously, so far.
Yeah, the word "crazy" is probably appropriate for this season, and the way Vanderbilt fans have felt really the last couple of years. With Diego at the helm and obviously Clark Lee returning. But I want to start with sort of your NFL journey before we get into Vanderbilt and obviously some of your playing career and now that you're on staff there. But kind of, for people that may have sort of lost track of what you had been doing, take us through that journey of yours in the NFL. Obviously drafted back in 2014 and spent 11 seasons there at that level and some position changes as well. So just sort of kind of take us through that journey for you and what you learned, because I would imagine you were able to learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was everything but linear. I would say my first 2 years were pretty much the trajectory that I thought my entire career would go. I'd had since probably my sophomore year of high school, I just created this ability to just have steady production. I mean, from sophomore, junior, senior, high school, produced. Freshman year, finished the year with 4 touchdowns at Vanderbilt. And we just continued to build onto it. I'd add more to my routine. I always felt like, the success was on the other end of a ton of work. And so we were able to, like you said, when I came back my senior year at Vanderbilt, I just went for 1,300. To go for anything less than that, to me, would have been a failure. So that's the way I view, playing that fourth year. So then you get to the NFL, the first year I had 860 and 8 touchdowns. Next year, yardage-wise, I was at 997, which, just call it 1,000. And then I could have tripped and fell forward one play and got 1,000, but then another 8 touchdowns. So for me, that was like, okay, well, now this third year is going to be the year I take off. And unfortunately, in that camp, I took a hit to the knee by Jalen Mills. It was his rookie year. If you know anything about Jalen, he's just very highly active, just always going hard football player. And, I was on the wrong end of, I guess, his enthusiasm in practice. He hit my knee and I ended up messing up a part of my knee called the posterior lateral corner. Now, most people always say the PCL. No, it's actually the PLC. So it helps stabilize the knee, and really its instability ended up leading to my ACL tear a few years later. But it led to knee tendonitis, which turned into tendinosis. I had to have a procedure after my 4th year into my on my patella tendon. And so this was actually the start of when my production dipped. I had gone 860 to right under 1,000 to 803 touchdowns to needing surgery to 100 yards and a touchdown with the Bills, and then going on IR, in week 10. For most people, I think they probably would have been like, he's only going to probably get 6 years now out of this. At that time, they didn't have the knowledge around patella tendon, rehab to come back and play like we do now. So for the most part, most people are probably like, Jordan's not producing at a high level, as a receiver. That's all we know him as. He's a high volume guy. Well, his career is going to be over. But that just wasn't my story. I was going to make sure by any means necessary I got to 10 years. I didn't care if I had to get dragged there. So that led to position switches, going to tight end, learning how to play special teams, being that guy in the locker room that could go out there and produce. There were weeks, guys, where you would be like, this guy can play on Sundays, but you know the NFL business. You know, if we go draft a guy and they're in the second round and you're a 28-year-old vet, chances are that guy that's just got drafted is probably going to play before you. So I was battling a lot of that stuff, but I learned, man, I want to be the ultimate teammate. I'm always going to go on the field and do what I got to do to look like a good football player. And I think that was endearing to a lot of coaches. Like I spent 3 or 4 years at the Niners. I might have played a couple games there, but I stayed in that locker room because Kyle Shanahan he gravitated to me. He could tell I love the game. He loves football. He knew we had that same thing inside of us that drove us to be great. So even if I wasn't producing on the field, he knew I still added value still being in his locker room, helping those other guys. And then it just ended up really, like I said, coming full circle when I switched to tight end, you know, learned a new position, tore my ACL, rehabbed while learning a new position, and got signed to the Panthers and still got another 2 years. So at that point, people just knew, like, this dude's a football player. He knows the game. He loves the game. And so it's only right that I transitioned right into coaching when I got done.
Mr. Joe Bulovas.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, man. I've always been really impressed with the way that you carry yourself, and I know this new journey with you joining the staff. We're blessed to have you. We're excited for you. I know I speak for everybody who's a Vandy fan or alum, you name it. We couldn't be more happy to have you around in another capacity. But man, one thing that really stands out about you is your faith. You're very, very outspoken about it, and I love that. Billy and I have chats about this fairly often, as we're men of faith as well. And I kind of want to ask you, how's that driven you throughout your career playing wise, and how do you see that going forward with being on the sidelines now as a coach? Yeah,
I would say my old high school coach is like a mentor of mine. He actually took me and my wife to Jerusalem. We spent time at the Sea of Galilee. I've been to En-Gedi where David hid from Saul. We floated in the Dead Sea. I did the Via Dolorosa where Jesus walked when he was going to Calvary. We did that whole deal in Israel probably like right before 2020 happened, right? And he's just been a mentor of mine, but he gave me this nugget when it came to my faith, and this just impacted me for, the entirety of my journey. It was that the truth has nothing to be afraid of. And just that just gave me the ultimate foundation. Like I know people talk about being outspoken, with your faith, but I just feel like I'm just speaking. I feel like this is exactly the way that I'm supposed to navigate this life. Like if you know anything about the world nowadays, nobody has a problem telling you what they believe at all. So like I believe that a savior came and died for you and he loves you, like more than you could ever imagine, and that he wants to come into a relationship with you so bad that he came and suffered so he can understand the situation you're in as well. Like that to me isn't a hard sell. The hardest thing is people having to give up their life in order to follow the savior. But that's a decision that you have to make. You got to respond to that. But for me, like it gave me all the confidence in the world learning from a man like Coach Koyu, just that you can walk in your faith and you don't have to be this person who's a shell of himself or nervous or I've got to taper this part of who I am to fit in. No, like I think when we are fully, there's a verse in the Word of God that says like, when we come to the culmination of our faith, we'll worship in spirit and in truth. We'll worship in spirit and in truth. Too many times we only pick one. We'll worship in truth, but we don't have the spirit. So we know the word, we got all this head knowledge, but we just beat people over the head with knowledge, but they don't feel the spirit from us. Or the other half is we have the Holy Spirit, we want to do God's work, we have these good deeds, but then when it's time for us to give a defense for our faith, we really have no knowledge, we have no truth to give them. Like we can't speak the word of God, we can't reference scripture, we don't know any apologetics, we can't give an answer for the hard questions in life. So I think for me, like just the amount of time I spent in the word, I'm like, I want to be able to worship in spirit and in truth. So if somebody needs a word, I got it for them. but they also just need a friend. I got that too. And I think that's going to be able to carry me in whatever I decide to do.
That's good stuff. I want to go back to your career at Vanderbilt, your playing career, and we'll get into the coaching side of Jordan Matthews. But obviously, what James Franklin was able to do here, and everyone a part of that culture and that build still sits deeply inside the hearts of Vanderbilt fans, and hopefully, obviously, this year, you know, you guys are able to surpass that. But what comes to mind most when you look back? I don't know how often you've been able to look back. Obviously, you had a few good performances, but what comes to mind most for you when you look back at that time on West End and how much just the development, you know, that you had, I'm sure was a huge part of that.
Yeah, I think changing the culture more than anything. Like, I think we were kind of that first group that came along that was like, nah, like, we can go against anybody. Like, it gets me excited. That's why I tell people all the time, you know, it was kind of, man, it was ordained, and we're going to bring God to this discussion at time. But I'm just like, I was blessed and I have no offers from nobody. So I don't like any of them. I don't like LSU. I don't like Bama. I got no loyalty to anybody but this. So it was like, you know, and this is not just a me thing, because, man, my teammates that I had were phenomenal. I played with guys that went to NFL. I mean, just in my room alone, me, Chris Boyd, and Jonathan Krause all spent time in the NFL. It's like, who would have ever thought that you have a receiver room in Vanderbilt where three guys would actually be in the National Football League. So I played with a lot of talented people. But kind of me transitioning to that leadership role, it was kind of perfect, because, like I said, I was more grateful for that scholarship offer than probably anybody. I was the most grateful dude in the country. So when we lined up against anybody, I really didn't care who you were. I'm trying to kill you, because you don't see me. You think it's one thing to be hated. Like, there's teams in college football that are like hated. Like, okay, people hate, you know, Alabama. We want Bama. Or, you know, people hate Texas. Like, oh, they're Texas. People hate USC. Oh, they think they're Hollywood. People didn't care about Vanderbilt. That's worse than being hated. Like, when you're, they're like, we don't even consider you. Like we will go play Tennessee, and it was a rivalry to us, but it wasn't to them.
Yeah.
Do you think Tennessee wants to beat us this year? Yeah, it's a rivalry now. You see what I'm saying? Like, I always had that. I hated everybody. I still hate them. And guess who hates them too? Diego.
No
you
doubt.
see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's what you have to compete here. Like, to go to class every day, to put on the black and gold, to go out there and be considered, you know, an afterthought of the SEC. They still don't believe. To walk in that and line up and say, nah, let's go. Like, you got to be different. That's why I ain't even, like, now I'm on this coaching side, and we'll talk more about that too. But, like, the recruiting stuff, I will do the kissing ASS for, like, the first week. But after that, yo, are you committed or are you interested? Are you interested in what we're doing because we're winning, because it's good, because Theo's showing up? Are you interested? Or because if you're just interested, you ain't going to make it here. We the misfits now. You're not going to make it, okay? So my situation was uniquely fit for me to be able to come in, build around these guys during that Franklin era, and show Vanderbilt, yo, we can go to the Swamp and win. We can beat Georgia. That's just a logo, okay? We can beat Tennessee twice in Neyland, and we can blow them out. It doesn't matter. Like, if it starts with belief, if we actually have that, then the possibilities are endless. That was the first gambit of this. And it's funny, though, because every time we, like, win a game, I always joke with the staff. I'm like, they're going to say this is the first, like, time we've done this since, like, the Old Testament. This is like Moses walked there. Like, they always, like, give me this, like, since 19. I'm like, guys, we get it. You know what I mean? But it was funny. I'm like, when we win 8 games or when we win 9 games, they're going to say this is the first time they've won 9 games since, and it's not going to be that long ago. It's going to be 2013. That means not too long ago, a group of guys came in and were like, hey, like, We can change this thing. But this one, very different.
Yeah.
This one's very different. Everybody can feel how it's different too. We had a group of guys that were hungry, that could win. But when we were ranked, or when we had like lots of times, that first game of the season tripped us up. Like the Ole Miss game, like we should have won that game. We should have had the first 10-win season, in school history in 2013. 2012, South Carolina game, Swearinger hits my arm, should have been called. That was another 9-win season. That you know what I'm saying, where that could have possibly been 10. Now we're going into games ranked and saying we're going to come out on the winning side. So that's the big difference now. We were just kind of like showing people what we could do. Now we're kind of doing it,
Yeah.
So you would have had to been there for those years and really walk through that to feel how like that was real. This is real, but there's a little bit more juice to this one.
Well, Jordan, can I add? I might try and take it down memory lane here a second.
Yeah.
You told us one time when I was playing at Vandy, and I think this is a great mindset to follow as a competitor.
Yeah.
To never feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
But you told us, and maybe not literally, but it sets a great precedent. 80% of people are glad or don't care about your problems. 20% of people are happy that you have them.
On my arm, I got nobody cares. Work harder.
No doubt.
They don't like that. To me, Chip Kelly gave me that one. My second year in the league, and it just stuck with me. I'm like, that's facts, man. Like, if you think that pity party is doing anything, I talk to my guys about it all the time, and we say in our room now, we say the ball finds energy. So if you want to come out here and put good energy on the field, that ball is going to find you. That ball is going to find Richie Hoskins.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to find Junior. It's finding Trey Richardson now. Like we talk through these things, but you want to sit around and cry and moan. That's never going. This is college football, okay? This is the breeding ground of men. So if you actually want to be something here, you better show up every day. You better have juice. So yeah, I wear that on my wrist. Nobody cares. Work harder. But that too, the older I've gotten, I realized that the other side of that is when you're having success, nobody cares. Work harder. They can love on you all. They really don't care. If we don't pull that one out yesterday, there's a totally different feel right now. I told you they were the same old Vandy, right? So no. I know it says 80 and 20%, so it's kind of morbid, but what that means is there's a small fraction of people. Number one, the Most High, right? But on this earth, there's a small fraction of people that you should be concerned with what they think about what you're doing. Everybody
Small circle.
Small, just keep it real tight. Everybody else is just, is really just a distraction.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, man, if I might ask one question before Billy gets to his home run hitter, maybe. He's always got something teed up. But, man, in that receiver room, how has it been having so many great players, but a whole lot of different personalities? I played with a handful of those guys. Some of them are new faces that I didn't play with. But how has it been being around those cats that have seen a lot of success, honestly, the past year or so? And how's it been mentoring them?
Yeah, so I would say, so you're just talking about specifically the room now, like Junior, Richie, Trey, the guys are now, right? So
yeah.
Well, I will say Richie and Junior were kind of the easiest. I already knew about Junior. My kids go to Lipscomb. So I already kind of knew about him. I knew about him from Dilfer. Me and Dilfer had a good relationship, have a good relationship. So I kind of already knew like what he did well. I'd been watching him since he was a freshman here. So immediately I knew we were going to mesh well because he can be pushed. And I I got no tolerance for staying the same. There's this quote from Les Brown. He says, "Life's a fight for territory." And when you stop fighting for what you do want, what you don't want automatically takes over, right? And so I'm like, we got to fight for territory every day. Like every day that ball's getting snapped and there's something fighting against us, whether it's receivers that are having production across the country, whether it's the DB that's getting ready to go against you on Saturday. Like everything you want in life in this game, something is fighting against you every day you wake up. So you better, fight for your territory back. So I'm always like, on him as far as like, hey, that wasn't good enough. Like he balled those first few games. He had the touchdown versus South Carolina. But we played against, who was it? We had LSU. We had the back shoulder. That was nice. But Alabama wasn't a great game. We played LSU and we played Missouri. And he was just he was so-so in those games. Great in the run game. He's always good in the run game. But he's still our number one guy. Like we're targeting, we're game planning a lot of stuff for him most of the time. And I'm just like, this can't be how you show up when we get into big boy football. Like when it's SEC football time, they got to see Junior Sheriff. Like, I don't know what this is. And I'm like, and I talk to him just like I'm talking to you guys. Because I'm serious, I'm like, me and Earl, this when we turned up. Like, I don't care about catching 400 versus Presbyterian. That does nothing. These are the money games. Hey, Texas, June showed up. This past game, Auburn, hey, he's showing up. And it's just like, he already has it in him. I'm not about to sit here and take all this credit. Like, obviously, Coach Bailey is doing a phenomenal job with him. They're doing that with him already. But anything you can add to the bag, if it's just one word that I can give him that makes him say, okay, like, I've got to be the aggressor. There's got to be a sense of urgency. I'm trying to do that. Richie, I call him SEC Richie. He makes plays, man. He just makes plays. He catches everything thrown to him.
He's a tough kid too.
He wants to work. Like he's like, show me the grind, and I want to be where that is. And so he's just been a joy to work with. Some of the newer guys I've gotten to know, I got to know Trey when I first got here. Trey's a little bit more soft-spoken and like very socially awkward. So like I'll say something to him in a meeting. He's like, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like,
the opposite.
Give me a little bit more than that.
I'm like, give me something. But Trey will do things like he'll text me like at around like 11 after practice ends and everything's, he'll be like, hey, like, let me know how I looked in one-on-ones today. I'm like, okay, like he cares. He does. He does care a lot. He wants to go out there and ball, So it's like your kids, right? You ain't gonna get the same thing from everybody. So I've learned that from being in the NFL as a mentor. Like, as long as I can tell that you want to be great, I can use that. So it's been good.
Jordan, if I were to tell Vandy fans 10 years ago that Clark Lee would come back, at home, because this is home, and be the head coach, you would come back and join the staff. Earl Bennett, like you mentioned, would be on staff, two of the best receivers in the history of the program. Javon Hay, Bob Shoop as well. To me, it feels like the ultimate all-out effort to bring Vanderbilt football to places they've never been. And so I wanted to throw that out. But for you, what drew you back? And I'm not surprised you're in coaching. I think we can all see that with you. But, what was that process like? Because I'll admit, I've seen coaches, come and volunteer in fall camp, but typically they may go their separate ways and just kind of, go as a fan type. But as soon as you were on the sideline for that first game, I think a lot of people were like, okay, something's going on here. So what did that look like for you? And what drew you back?
A lot of those guys, man, they can't. Where a lot of those dudes, like my boy David Guys always says, like where your life ends, mine begins. They can't run the marathon, man. Like they did playing, and then that's it. And I'm just like, that was never what it's supposed to be. I played wide receiver. I switched positions. I played tight end. That's how you impact the game now. Okay, well, I can't impact the game playing anymore, so I'm just change positions again. So I don't need now I can impact it from the coaching standpoint. Like it's just a position switch. I don't even like when people say things like, "Are you hanging up the cleats?" No, the cleats right here in the car. We can get active right now. Like stop with the cliche. Like bro, it's ball. It's ball. Can you impact the game or not? You want to do it in the executive way? Then shoot, talk to Big Brother Earl. Like he'll show you how to go into that boardroom and make those numbers jump so we get players that we need. You know, if you want to actually come here and learn how to be the best wide receiver in the country, all right, holla at me. Like that's the new, like I promise you, like I called one coach from another place before I got into this. One. Other than, I talked to Franklin already. I still talk to, Gat. I called one coach that I did not know from Adam and Eve before getting this. It was Brian Hartline. Mm. So what you think we're trying to do? Okay. Like the other one, I don't even see the other ones because I'm like, no, like when I did this, you were already filing papers. I was still doing it. So there's a different mindset that I believe I can help some of these guys tap into. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I had a responsibility when I was done to say, you know what? I got to be boots on the ground. I can't be a fan. I can't be showing up to the game with the pass, dapping you up. Oh man, no good. Keep doing. No, I'm in the film room with you. I'm at breakfast with you. I'm on that plane with you. I'm watching film. I'm in there giving them plays like, hey, let's put this play in. Like we ran this for me back when I was in Philly in 20, and then we're gonna hit Eli Stowers on it this week. Like I'm trying to have real impact from that standpoint. And I'm not saying those other people don't, I truly, but the ability that a coach has to directly impact the trajectory of a player is like nothing you've ever heard of. Like you can be a mentor and a kid can come to you with all his problems and be like, dude, just keep going. Trust me, just keep grinding. And those people have value. But if I'm actually in that room and I say, hey, baby, how about we put so-and-so on this route? And then I go to you this week, hey, we putting you on this. I know you're going to make that play. That's a totally different level of connection. Like, dang, coach really believes in me. Yeah, dang right. I believe you on Saturday. Like, we're going to put you in the position to make – that's what I need, man. And I still, guys will come to practice and they'll look at me because they know I just was playing. I was just with the Panthers in May. I'm already kind of like on staff. And so they always have this assumption that coaches like don't see their families, which I'm like, that's not true. Like there's a very much a new wave of coaches that know that we're not going to sacrifice family life for a job. But there's this thing called work-life integration. You got to be able to integrate your family into what you do. But then also you just got to know like this is a lifestyle now. If I'm not at the building coaching, I'm with my family. There's no, I'm going to go over here to the bar and go, kick it with the guys, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to go golf. No, there's none of that. It's work, family. Trust me, I get more than enough time with both that's needed to be a good father, husband, and coach. But, man, guys will come to practice and like, dude, like, how is it? Are you okay? Like, blink twice. Like, bro, trust me, I'm good. I would actually be miserable if I was at home all day like you are. Like I would be like I'm perfectly fine. And we just getting started.
That's awesome, man. So talking about Vandy going forward and like the vision going forward, because I know when I was playing at Vandy, this was the vision, what we experienced, what we are experiencing right now, being the hunted versus always having to be the aggressor in sort of sense.
Yeah.
We talked about that, and as a player sitting in that room for the first two teams and seeing that come to fruition, or on its way to that point, right? So fulfilling to see. And, big thank you to you guys for sticking to it and Coach Lee's resolve to make it what it is and it will be. So, talking about the vision going forward, what would you like to see this team do in the next year or two And I know it starts on an everyday basis,
Yeah.
but what would you want to see this team do to take this to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think our identity, right, is we're the disruptors. Now we are the outliers, right? You see that the shirts that say the misfits.
And I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, you need an identity, right? Because now people have something to gravitate around. They have something that kind of like to associate with. Like I think before, people who, like, how many people are just Alabama fans that didn't even go to the school, right?
Oh, believe me,
a lot of people.
people.
You need nominal fans. Like, we need more Nate Bargatze's out there. Like, people actually think Nate went to Vandy, which is awesome. But love that. But like, that's something that people can gravitate around. Like, hold on, I'm a misfit. Like, I'm kind of somebody that most people would look over. Okay, that's my team. Okay, so that's the first part. It's like, now we've got something. We've got an identity. We've got a leader in Clark. We've got a general in my boy Diego. And so that is already starting to push the envelope right now. And I mean, Diego's already told y'all what we're trying to do this year, so I don't got to say it again.
No doubt.
It's well documented. But if y'all think the goal isn't to contend for that this is the NIL era now. It's a 1-year deal every year. That's the goal. And the beautiful part about, like you said, I know you mentioned like Clark being here, Earl being here, the AD Candace, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God's blessed me with the opportunity to come back. Who wants Vanderbilt to win more than us?
No one.
It's not just a job. Like, when I walk in there, there's this I can't even describe the connection. It's like love. Like, when I'm there, I only can think about how can we make this place better. When I leave, it's on my mind. Okay, most people in college football, when they walk into a building, they're thinking, how can I leverage this opportunity to go somewhere else to make some more money? How can I use this? It's totally different. You see what I'm saying?
I saw that bit at Alabama. You had coaches coming in, and without saying so, you knew they were probably going to be out in about a year or two, using it as that stepping stone, that leapfrog path to get to the next job. So
they're interested, not committed.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I've always felt about Vanderbilt, even without the success on paper when I was there, and you spoke to it just now, it's just unity. Everybody's all in line. We knew the results would come at some certain point in time. And the biggest question that I get from people is like, did you see Vandy having this type of success? I was like, if you take a look inside that building, there are too many good people doing the right things to not see success.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time, but it takes a united front. And I've noticed that since, my first day on West End. And it's so cool to see that unity, that united front, with you now included on that too. From the coach, from the administration and then coaching perspective, see it now yielding results and getting this team where we always knew it would be. So it's so cool to see on the outside.
I appreciate that. No, it's been fun. And like I said, I thought we just getting started.
No doubt.
Yeah. I'm gonna fire away one more, and then Joe, if you have anything else at the end, you can. But you mentioned Diego and his impact on the team, not just on the field, but the off the field impact is hard to see for people outside of the program. I thought there was a great feature from Marty Smith on game day that gave a good look at that. But that was really 3 minutes. That was like a 3 to 4 minute thing. And you are there, you're with him on the field, off the field, and so many other people are. How would you describe his impact? And I know I'm sure you were connected last year, but obviously now officially on staff. How have you seen him impact the team, the university, the community, and how has that rippled throughout the team? Because like Joe said, relatedness is our edge. That's what you guys say. And how have you seen that, live and in person?
Yeah, well, we talked about that identity, right? Well, you got to have an enforcer. And that's who he is. I mean, he set the tone. And now that's like when Dan Campbell got to Detroit, it was grit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look now, it's like that's what they are now. Like it just and Diego has given us that, man. Like everything that blue collar that I don't care, line the ball up. We can play on concrete. We can play tonight. We can play in the dome. It don't matter. We can play in the court. It does not matter. Like that mindset that Clark wants in his program, Diego's able to go out there and be that embodiment of it. And I mean, to a T, the dude's just different. I mean, he's a dog. Like the way he practices, the way he bounces from drill to drill. Like I'm like, that's my dude. Like I can't deal with a casual player. I can't. Like if you casual, you just I'm like, get out of here. Like watch him. Like watch him. If you ain't bringing that type of juice, bro, just don't even do something else or go focus on school. Because this is the new standard, right? This mindset, this juice, this aggression, like for him, it is a concentrated, just like he's chopping wood to get to where he wants to be in life, and we get to watch it real time. Like I think, and truly, like Joe, when people ask you those things, like, oh man, like where do you see Vanderbilt go? Just say, man, can we just enjoy this? Like we're in the middle of. It's awesome. Don't ask me about 2026. All right. Like we are in this thing right now. Ask me about this bye week. How we going to win the bye week? How we're going to recover? Ask me about, because Kentucky's playing good football.
They are.
And Auburn was playing good football. That was a really good football team that was playing loose. Right. Like, don't worry about all that. Right now, what we living in, like is one of the best times and probably the best time up to date of Vanderbilt football history. Now, though, how do we stay consistent? That's what you got that leader for. That's what Diego's great for. He's going to get right back to that process. He does not know how to come out and not practice hard. So his standard is it's cemented. So people see him, hey, if he's working like that, we got to work like that. So, I mean, he's given us an identity. I think the whole school's gravitated around it. We know we're a smart school, all right? We get it. We need some of that dog. We need that. We need that. I'm serious. We need it. We need that. I do not care who you are. Line it up. And so that's my dog. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it goes right in line with Clark Lee. It's like the human form of everything Clark Lee had been preaching before Diego came. And, speaking of Clark, me and Joe always joke about some of the Clark Lee-isms. You've got head body. And I know Joe's got some of his favorites. Is there a favorite for you, Jordan? And I know some players always go, man, if he's rubbing his forehead, that means it's about to get real.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you have a favorite ism.
I mean, his call and response in meetings is next level. I mean, he literally would be like, relatedness is our edge. Bring your A game. Like they always know if he'll say half the sentence and then they'll always jump on it. What is my favorite one? I know he says he was like reps are what? Gold. And they always say like the reps are gold. God, what is probably I have to think about that. I enjoy the way Clark manages the meeting space. I mean, I think it's at an NFL level. I thought that when people don't know his first spring that he was here, I actually came by and was helping out a little bit that spring. And I sat in his meetings and watched him teach second down defense. And I was like, this is the NFL level meeting. He's a really good coach. Really good coach. Really good communicator. Has a lot of subject matter expertise as well. Like he spent time in the film room, but then he can communicate it, which a lot of guys don't have that ability. They know a lot, but when they start talking, it's like, golly, like I just can't. You're not making this interesting at all. But he has the ability to communicate it, but he also knows what he's talking about.
That's awesome, man. Jordan, we can't thank you enough. I could probably be on here for another 2 hours, but I know fans are gonna enjoy this, and obviously Joe being a former player too. There's a care level from more guys than just you two. And I think people need to realize that and maybe some are just now, hopping back in, but you guys have been invested really ever since you stopped playing. So thank you, Jordan. Joe, thank you too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what it's about.
Well, Jordan, before you take off, man, I got to settle the record here. You guys are some pretty in shape guys. You and Coach Lee. I don't know what you're training for, but it looks like world's strongest man. So, if you had to put money down, and you're an arm wrestling coach, who's winning, and how much are you throwing down?
I'm winning. All right, it's my dude.
Yeah.
I already gave him his flowers on his speaking ability, but if it comes.
Yeah, I will say my favorite Coach Lee-ism is probably winning takes focus. Yeah. And the whole team finishes and says focus. That's my favorite one.
He says no, get to your position faster than the opponent. I'm like, it's a wave, bro. Like whenever he starts it. But if we compete, and Clark wouldn't even want me to say we don't build that mindset. I'm winning. I know he's thinking the same thing. So.
Don't worry, I'll let him know tomorrow.
That's why we're let him know. Let him know. Let him know. He'll be like, all right, let's do it. That's why he's my guy. So
another thing, Jordan, man, I really enjoyed catching you guys at practice. I try to make practice every Thursday, man. The energy at practice, it's loose, but it's intentional focus. Yeah. And Coach was always trying to get guys or our team to find that like perfect zone kind of mentality of how practice would be run to get that optimal performance. And it seems like you guys have found that. I've never seen so many guys having a fun time practicing football and playing at such a high level on Saturdays. Obviously, you're going to make adjustments and improve every week, but I got to speak to the atmosphere during practice. The guys bouncing around. I think Diego has a big part in that because heck, he's lining up that DB and that challenging guys to be competitive and focused, and but it's also a light atmosphere to where guys are having fun, competing their asses off. So, how's that been? What was your take on that? Do you like that?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that love it. When you love the game, it's easy to stay focused and have fun because it's a fun time at work. So, that's a credit to the coordinators for building out a system and a process for practice and how we set up everything scheduling wise that keeps guys in that routine, and also the people that we brought in. So Barton and staff, bringing in people that actually love football. It makes it easy to go to work, but you also want to do work well. So I'll probably say that for sure.
Well, Jordan, I can't thank you enough again, man. And I want to leave you with, if you got a message for Vandy fans, and I know, you're back home now, and so you guys get a couple of weeks off before Kentucky and Tennessee, but I guess I'll leave you with a message if you want to send anything Vandy fans' way.
Don't look too far ahead. Look, being a Commodore as a player, I feel like everything we accomplish impacts everybody that's ever worn that jersey before. I don't think it's truly like that at other schools. Like when they beat Alabama last year, that impacted everybody who's ever worn that jersey. Because there is a shared suffering that a lot of people that played in that jersey went through, where it was just like those dog years. So when you start to see the light, it impacts everybody, okay? So y'all in this with us. When you at the water cooler, don't be talking about Tennessee. Worry about the bye week. When they talking to you, hey, we're trying to have a good bye week. I want Vandy fans talking like coach talk, like at the podium. Like I want them like Belichick almost. Like we're on process. We're not looking too far because we're not. We got to have a great bye week. Truly, that's not coach speak. We got to get guys healthy. We got young guys that have to continue to show up, and in case their numbers called, that got to get better. And Kentucky's a good football team, so an extra week to prepare for them. Because Mark Stoops is a great coach. He ain't going down lightly. Like it's gonna take everything. So I would just say, look, guys, y'all in this with us. So y'all got to talk like us too. All right. Let Diego make the big claims. That's him. He gets to do that. Everybody else, one day at a time. So yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, Jordan, again, can't thank you enough, man. And Joe, thank you for, I think this is kind of your idea a little. I think we both wanted this to happen. You helped facilitate it. So thank you as always, Joe. But Jordan, enjoy home, enjoy the bye week. I know you guys got a couple weeks left, but thanks for taking the time, brother.
No doubt. No doubt. Joe, what's down your wrist, man?
Man, it's an old Michael Kors, man. I'm sure I think you got something glistening on your wrist every now and then too, though.
Man, I got something. You had it on the camera. I'm like, hold on now, Joe.
No, it's Sundays. It's church day.
It pays, man. Okay, I see it. I love it.
I think it's the other way around, actually.
I love it, man. Y'all got the juice, man. I swear, bro. I love seeing you in practice, Joe. I mean, obviously, stand-up dude, man. I was so excited to finally do this. We'll be able to hopefully do it again. Let's just keep this thing going.
Absolutely.
Love to, man. Thank you a ton for the time, man. I know we'll see you guys soon winning that bye week.
No doubt. We got to win the bye week, boys. All right, y'all. Anchor down.
Thanks, Jordan.
Anchor down.
That was Vanderbilt legend Jordan Matthews, obviously a current offensive consultant for Clark Lee's Commodores. Joe, that wasn't too shabby, man. Credit to you. I thought, you did a good job facilitating it. And, it's rare to, he's not technically, he is a coach, as his title is the consultant, but sometimes it's hard to get these guys in season. I think it worked out with the bye week, and this is going to be a lighter week. Obviously they'll still be practicing, but coach mentioned giving guys rest and getting guys healthy. Can't thank him enough, obviously, but man, that was pretty cool.
It was awesome, man. He's such a great personality to have on because he's former player, longtime NFL guy that comes back to Vandy to do a lot of good. His impact is already felt by so many guys in that locker room. So you talk about a huge value add to this program, Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
And now we actually have two Jordan Matthews on the team. Now we've got a DB and we've got Jordan Matthews, the Vandy legend, NFL star, and now coach here at Vanderbilt. So, but I thought, just hearing him talk, you can tell he's a student of the game and still is. I think that's what makes great coaches great, is they are constantly learning and soaking up knowledge of the game and in the position rooms like a sponge. And he's so passionate about it. He's so passionate about his family and his faith. And I think, that those are some of his best characteristics and best traits. Is heck, they're aspects of his life that you want to be more like in certain respects. And so phenomenal guy, man. I think the world of him, and he's a huge asset to this program.
Yeah, one of the best. And he's the same guy he was as a player too. I remember watching press conferences and going back. I knew I was not surprised, when he finished with the NFL, got back into coaching, and of course, even better for Vanderbilt fans that he's on campus, on West End, and just value add. That's a great phrase for that. And I can't imagine, how excited he is, and all the alums on staff. That's something I think that really stands out. That some people may forget about that. This is full. This staff is full of. It's a huge staff to begin with, but there's also a ton of alums and people that Javon Hay, an older former player. Bob Shoop, a former coach under James Franklin, Earl Bennett, obviously, and then Jordan Matthews, and you can go on and on.
You got an all-star lineup here, man.
Yeah,
all-star lineup, and a lot of Vandy diehards through and through. That's cut them open. That's what they bleed. So it's really cool when you have so many guys who played at the university to be on staff again. It means more to them, obviously, than if you're coaching at Baskin Weaving College of the South, University or whatever. This is their alma mater. This is a place where they had shared experiences. And when Jordan said that, that everything that we do in this jersey affects everyone who came before, I couldn't have said a truer statement, because everyone who wore black and gold when you saw the team last year beat Alabama, and now you see them having this type of year. It's so fulfilling and so rewarding to see guys in black and gold have success and be a part of that, because you knew how hard it was in the early days. So, I tell you what, Jordan said a lot of great things. And the fact that I could resonate with all of them, because being a former player at Vandy, when he was speaking specifically about Vanderbilt, I was like, I mean, this guy's outlining this feeling perfectly from a former player perspective of what we always wanted this program to be. But also one thing he said that was really powerful was like, enjoy the moment. Enjoy it right now. Be where your feet are. Don't look too far into 2026 and 2027 down the road. I mean, Billy, what's your take on that? Because I totally think that is absolutely right. I mean, Coach Saban was preaching that when I was at Alabama. He was like, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. You can't control the future. You can't control hypotheticals. What you can control is where your feet are and what's happening right now. And that's for Vanderbilt winning the bye week, just like Jordan said. So I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's what his former coach at Vanderbilt always preached too. 1-0 this week. I mean, I think Franklin was really. I'm sure other coaches had said that before him, but he was still saying it at Penn State, obviously. But yeah, he's coaching Vandy fans up too. I
guess we got to be like the head coach on the podium in front of any fans that we see. I got to train myself better. Yeah, I've got to be ready to answer the question, but but it is the biggest question that I get. I don't think he's referring directly to what I'm about to say, but when I come across Vandy fans or people who ask, hey, how did you see Vandy having this type of success? I'm like, 110%. It's just a matter of time. There's too many great people in that building doing things the right way in a united front to not see success, and now you're finally seeing it to this magnitude. So, but yeah, I guess we got to encourage the Vandy faithful to be, more podium ready. We're gonna get those questions.
Well, it's been hard. This has been a tough season for that, I think, for Vandy fans, because there's been so many games that have come down to the wire. You go back to LSU.
Oh boy.
You go back to Missouri.
Or you go back to last night.
Yeah, last night was I think most life-threatening of them all for maybe some older Vandy fans. It was so funny. Clarkley's dad came into the press conference room after the game, and he was sending out like voice texts to some of his buddies, and he was like, I'm nervous for my health after this one. I'm sure some other people are. But, Joe, let's hop into it, man. Vandy beats Auburn. This is such a great conversation with Jordan Matthews, and we wanted to hit a lot of big-picture things, and obviously he was hitting on, some of the notes from this season. But 45-38, Vandy gets it done, 8-2 overall now, 4-2 in the SEC. Auburn falls to 4-6 and 1-6 in the SEC. Wasn't a great start. Joe, Vandy got down early, 7-0. And then at the half, that was huge to cut it to 17-10 before the half. Auburn did get a field goal from McPherson, who kicked his butt off, by the way.
He had a really good and what a great story about him as well. I wish him nothing but the best. Lauren and I were sitting in the stands, and I told her about Alex's health history and his story coming back. I played with his brother when he was at Florida. We played against each other a few times.
Oh, okay.
I remember Alex, when he came through, the Auburn kicker, he was at a camp at Alabama when I was playing there. He was the best young kicker I had maybe ever seen.
He's got a leg,
man. He was about 14 maybe when I saw him kick, and he was kicking off a little 1-inch block. But his ball strike, his ball flight, mechanics, he was the best young kicker I had seen. And then about a year later, I get Twitter videos popping up of him hitting 50-plus yard field goals in high school, and he was just a phenomenal player. And I'm so happy to see him back out there. He for those of you who don't know, he's had a very extensive ride to get back to playing on that grass.
Yeah, he was a big part of the effort for Auburn. Obviously, they fell just short. And Joe didn't start great for Vanderbilt. The defense was really on their heels. Auburn, credit to Derrick Nixon and what they had planned offensively, because they hadn't shown that all season. I mean, just the week before against Kentucky, they put up 3 points, and they had 292 total yards of offense in that first half. That was the most they've had in any SEC game. And they've had a lot of games where they didn't even get to 292 total. I think most SEC games they didn't. And so, you know, credit to them. I know there's some Vandy people that look at that and are really worried about the defense. And I think that's fair. There's some adjustments that need to be made, and Clark mentioned that. But the defense also bowed up at the end after the 4th and 1. There's still a minute to play, Joe. And Clarkley mentioned that after the game. He said, hey, I had a decision. That decision didn't pan out, but the defense had my back. And I think that's the bottom line with this team, Joe. No matter what happened throughout the game, whether it was the first half, second half, what have you, they battle back. And, Joe, they had 4 touchdowns in 22 minutes, in a 22-minute span in that second half. So that was a type of quick strike offense we hadn't seen. The Auburn defense wasn't ready for it. But
yeah, I remember you texted me middle of the game.
Yeah, I said tempo and all caps.
Tempo in all caps. Yeah. So I remember getting that text, and like we just drove down and scored in a heartbeat. It was like,
yeah,
might be something to this tempo deal, man. They're pretty good with it when they start churning around.
I think they are, but I think it's interesting for fans to think about it too. You know, when Vanderbilt goes tempo, they really only do it. You know, if you look at all the games this season, they may do it a few times a game. Where, you know, Utah State, they were down and late in that first half and they had to go tempo to get right back in it. They scored in like 30 seconds on one of those drives. Same thing against Texas. They had to do it. So typically they do it when they have to, when they're down a score or two, or if they need a momentum play, or they need to put their foot on the gas.
Dictates that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's not their identity, right? And so I think that's part of what makes it successful. So I think they can look into doing more of it, but you still got to be strategic. You can't get away from your identity. But Joe, as a whole, man, I mean, just the resiliency. You know, we've talked about it. We talked about it after LSU. We talked about it after Missouri. This team knows how to win, and that's part of their identity right now.
Man, they know how to win, and that becomes a strength. That becomes an asset for a team. When I was at Alabama, we had there was very few times where, you know, we were, for a stretch there were a lot of games where they weren't even close. We were blowing guys out. But what Coach Saban would always preach to us is if we played a team up on the, you know, coming up on the calendar that had scrapped out wins consistently, been in dogfights, finds ways to win. He would always tell us, guys, that this is going to be a dogfight, and you better be ready for a dogfight. This is going to be a 4-quarter, hour-long street fight to see who wins this game, because that becomes a strength for you as a team, and it's almost like it's an overwhelming belief for everyone on the sideline as a player that, hey, we're down 2 scores in the second quarter, no big deal. Boom, right back in it. Oh, wait, we're up by 2 scores now. So these teams find ways to win in the margins, small margins, create opportunities for your offense, make the other team make the mistakes and capitalize on them. So like this Vanderbilt team, very talented team. But I will say they are finding ways to win, and it takes everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, Diego had a phenomenal game. I mean, the stats on him the last game, damn. Yeah. I mean, 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards passing, and over 100 yards rushing, right?
Yep, almost 500 total yards.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal performance. But you know what? It takes him. It takes our left guard, our right guard, our center. It takes our running back room. It takes everybody on offense to make stuff happen. And our defense is doing a phenomenal job of bending, but not breaking. You know, they were spotty. But at the same time, man, we're doing enough to win, and that becomes the biggest asset you can have as a team, because you have just complete belief as a squad. So, golly, I think my heart skipped a beat, or was not beating for about like 3-4 separate times. And so, talking about trying to put Joe on pins and needles. He was on pins and needles. Not that I didn't have belief, because I did. I always believed we were going to win the game.
Yeah.
but Auburn was playing lights out, like playing out of their shoes to try and make something happen. And I remember, Billy, you and I were talking about this when teams don't have a head coach, like when the head coach leaves, gets fired, coordinators have nothing to lose. They are airing that ball out. They are doing trick formations, trick plays, throwing the kitchen sink to make something happen. Auburn did that on offense, and they got that big number 8, I believe, is that receiver ball. That is their biggest playmaker on the team. And they found an identity on offense around him. And so our defense had a hard job. They had a really hard job. I don't know if you're close to the field, you could see how big Auburn's offensive line was.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest offensive lines in the SEC and defensive lines. They are big and physical, and I think that's why they had a good run game. We were really creative on our blitz packages on defense. I mean, we were setting corners, we were setting safeties on blitzes. It was really creative, but I think we had to because those guys are huge and physical. Yeah. We can't just expect to get a good push with bringing 3 guys or 4 guys against their 5. But man, they were a big physical team, and when you have a team that has nothing to lose, they're dangerous. And that's what Auburn did. They put us to the test, and it's a really talented team. And you saw it with LSU. You saw LSU play Alabama pretty tight. Yeah. LSU doesn't have a head coach. Let the dogs eat, man. Air out that ball. Let your guys on defense go make plays. Keep it simple. Let them eat. Those guys they're playing for a position on the team next year or somewhere else, essentially. Yeah. So that's what you had Auburn and LSU throwing the kitchen sink to make a splash.
Yeah, credit Ashton Daniels. But they tie it up at 38 on that touchdown to Cam Coleman. They get the 2-point conversion on another fade route to Coleman. Vandy, obviously, they get the ball back, don't end up scoring. There's a big 4th and 1 there, Joe, that has been highly debated. And I think it's a situation where hindsight's 20/20. If they convert, they likely end up winning the game because you get even closer for a field goal. You can run the clock out. Auburn had already used all their timeouts. But, if you kick the field goal and you make it and then Auburn goes down and scores, you're probably hearing, you got to go for the touchdown. So I think that's that situation. But Clark after the game said that we're not risk averse. Our thought was that we were going to.
Coach is not risk averse in winning this play, Colin. The amount of times that we went for it on 4th down when I was there, holy mackerel.
Yeah, and that's what has built. That's what has gotten this team here to this point. And Clark said it. He said, "Look, we have full confidence in Brock. This is not about Brock. This would be a different situation if Brock was hurt or something like that. But full confidence in Brock, and Vanderbilt's defense bowed up when they had to, right? And obviously you get to overtime and man, that play call to Cole Spence was beautiful. You had Gabe Fisher.
It reminded me of Tim Tebow back in Florida, man.
Oh my gosh! And they don't do that a lot. If you go back to the Birmingham Bowl last year, they ran that to Cole for a touchdown as well to cap off one of those drives. But Gabe Fisher comes off on a down block and just levels one of their best players defensively, Xavier Atkins, who's a
you actually have to refer to Gabe Fisher as Captain America.
Yeah,
he's in ROTC.
That's right.
Actually, runs around. Yeah, he's an absolute man child. Those memes that you see, like with the guy with a huge lifted truck and a large American flag and a juiced up dude with an arm hanging out the window. That's what I think of when I see him, because he's just a dog, man. Yeah. He plays hard. He's a Vanderbilt guy. He's like Nick Rinaldi. He's like Richie Hoskins. Those types of guys that just make stuff happen and play at a really high level. I love seeing that guy knock guys around.
Yeah, Cedric Alexander had a really good block on that too. It was off of a read, and he has to do that a lot where he carries the fake out, but there's a guy right there in front of Pavia. He had to block him off. Pavia sidesteps, throws it to Cole, and that's the game-winning touchdown. But Joe, Eli Stowers, he's had a lot of great performances at Vanderbilt. I think this was up there: 12 catches, 122 yards. Trey
Wow.
Richardson had 124 yards as well. Junior Sherrill came up big with a few catches. Richie Hoskins as well with that huge catch on the rollout from Pavia late.
Mm-hmm.
This was obviously the best offensive performance Vandy's had all season. I think it was one of the best offensive performances in a long, long time because look at the situation. You're playing against one of the best defenses, not just in the SEC, but in the country. This Auburn defense is elite. And you put up 45.
You could tell. You didn't have to watch a play. You just see him standing over there ready to get in position for the play and start getting in front of our guys. Huge guys.
Yeah. I mean, and
Studs.
they didn't slip very often. Now, Pavi did a good job of taking advantage of some of the rush lanes, and I thought his rushing touchdown was another beautiful call as well. But Joe, the defense, and you hit on that, obviously a little spotty. The situation, though, I don't think there's a defense in the country that could have done. Maybe they don't give up 38 points, but this was a hard task. Ashton Daniels came to play. Derrick Nix called a great game on offense. Now I thought Vanderbilt, I thought they did.
The quarterback play was phenomenal from Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really solid.
Yeah, he looked like prime Cam Newton out there. I mean, just he was running the ball, and I think that was the thing for me, Joe. It didn't look like Vanderbilt was ready for him to run as well as he did. And also in coverage, this is something they're going to have to look at, and Clark knows this. He said it after the game. We're going to look at several things defensively because Texas exposed them. Auburn obviously did, and Kentucky, Cutter Boley, he's been playing well, and obviously with Tennessee, with their high powered attack. There's some things to sort out, but again, they bowed up. Don't want to be negative about it because it's also late in the season. This defense has to be gassed. Now they have more depth, Joe, but this bye week could not be coming at a better time, specifically for the defense.
Yeah, man. It's funny you said not to harp on the negativity. It's kind of cool how every week, I know you see this too, but I'll get people who will talk about the podcast or ask about the podcast, and the reviews have been good, so it's not like they hate it.
Yeah.
But they all actually really like it, and I think we do a good job with it. But they when we have a discussion about it, I always make the point to say it's a very positive podcast. We are not here to undercut the foundation. We are here to promote Vandy and all that good stuff. We want to put our best forward for this university and this program, but to not get into the negative, because I know the coaches are going to make their X and O's corrections and schematic corrections with their guys today and this week, and they're going to do a phenomenal job about that. But that defense has been on the field a long time this season, and I'm glad we're getting to a bye week. Just like Jordan said, we got guys banged up. They might not be on the injury report, but there's not a guy on that team that isn't nursing something. It's just a matter of how significant it is. So, that defense, hit the cold tubs, man. Get your PD light in you, and eat good this week and practice hard. But it's going to take everybody's next 2 games, man. They know what they need to do. It's pretty clear cut. Got to win these 2 games to go to the playoff and keep things rolling. I know everybody on that team is narrowed in on that goal. That is the only goal that they have. Those test assignments. Okay, we'll worry about that one the night before or whatever, But what I mean is these guys have everything they want on their sights, and I know from speaking to a lot of them, they're zeroed in. So they got to be mature this week, man. They got to recover, but defensively, man, I know Coach is going to do everything he possibly can to get this defense right going forward because, like you said before, Kentucky's a very good team. Tennessee's an explosive team. They might not be as complete as years past, but they're just as explosive.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff can happen. We have to take out the variables.
Yeah. There's a lot of football left. And, look, I think, and Jordan was right when he said, it's enjoy the moment, right? You got the bye week. You're not going to have to be stressed about the game. There's some games of interest, obviously. Oklahoma is a team that right now is ranked ahead of Vanderbilt. They have to play Alabama at Alabama. And then same thing with Texas, who's currently ranked ahead of Vanderbilt. They have to play at Georgia. So some chances there. Enjoy some of the other games, and then get ready for Kentucky in a couple of weeks. And then obviously the trip to Knoxville, which I know, Joe, you're just thrilled to get to Knoxville. You're a big Knoxville guy.
There is no way I go sit in that stadium to watch the game. I mean, actually, there is a chance. I guess I jumped the gun on that. But Knoxville isn't exactly the place where I go to vacation and get some downtime.
This is gonna be the kind of trip where you go. I think it's an afternoon kick, so you're not gonna be leaving Thursday night. Enjoy Friday. I already know you'll be leaving Saturday morning, and then leaving
back Saturday. yeah, definitely a day trip over that city.
Yeah,
if we make it over that way, but. Neyland Stadium, it's a good environment for a game, man. The place gets rocking. I'm excited for these guys who haven't had played there yet. It's a phenomenal atmosphere. Now, you might have people yelling at you that only have 3 teeth, but, that's just what comes with it. You get that at any
school. They got used to that in Tuscaloosa.
Dude, I'm telling you, you'll find them everywhere. Man. So – Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Florida, you name it. You're going to find some real fans that, really did not go there.
Yeah.
But they're the last ones in the stadium. So
yeah,
it'll be awesome, man. And then Kentucky coming to town, last home game. We want to finish off on a good note for these seniors. And that'll be senior day, I'm sure, giving us the last home game. So, man, there's a lot of excitement out there for this team. A lot of exciting weeks coming up. But man, it's crazy to think that we're almost done with the season. We've got 3 weeks, and the regular season's gone. I'm like, I thought it was August or September.
It always flies by like this, but it is crazy to think that 3 weeks left. Vandy's on the doorstep of the college football playoff. But tune in Tuesday night again for the college football playoff selection show. Vanderbilt, you would think, moves up 2 or 3 spots. I mean, they could be at 13, maybe at 14. But again, that it doesn't matter until we get to the end of the season, see where they're ranked, see where they're going. Drop the ball, as Clark Lee would say. But we'll see about that. I think the line should already be out for. Oh, they got a bye week, of course. They are favored this week, but we'll keep track of the line for the Kentucky game as well. Obviously, you would assume Vanderbilt's a similar type favorite as they were in the Auburn game, but keep track on that. We'll you guys can head on over to FanDuel as well for that if you'd like to. But to wrap it up, we can't leave here without giving love to our man Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James with Joe Bulovas. If there's one thing we all share, it's that our lives are all unique. Getting into the holiday season, getting busier at Raymond James, they believe that's worth celebrating because financial planning isn't just about numbers and figures, but it's about creating the life that you envision. So whether you're building a future or preparing for retirement, Joe can guide you each step of the way, all while following a plan that's uniquely yours, customizable, and any way you like it. That's life well planned. To learn more, call Joe 615-645-6742 or log on to their website. Lots of great info there, raymondjames.com/Bulovas Wealth Management. Joe, what's the theme today, my man?
Well, you talked a little bit about being able to customize portfolios. That's exactly what our bread and butter is. I enjoy doing that. I think everybody's unique, and your portfolio and your financial planning deserves to be centered around you and that fact. Well, one of the things that we really like to outline as far as specific allocations is your structured investments. So that's a pretty new theme, right? So you don't have too many ads out there promoting structured investments or structured products. Why? Because it's very, very new, right? But at the same time, it's extremely important to understand how these operate. So structured investments are pretty much what you would call defined outcome investments. So you can get equity-like exposure with 100% principal protection up to a certain percentage tied to an index. You have your buffers and your barriers. So you can use a buffered strategy or barrier strategy up to, say, 30% on the upside, and then capped or protected 30% on the downside. So if the market goes down 10% on the year and it's within that buffer range, You lose absolutely nothing. Your principal is protected, and you move forward to the next year with full principal protection. And then if the market goes up from your original start date on the year, and it's up 20% out of the 30% upside capture, you capture all that. So if you want equity-like exposure, that's one way you can do it while having full principal protection. And then you also have your defined outcome strategies that are going to pay out a fixed percentage. You can almost view them as an annuity on steroids, paying out 13-14% each year, as long as the market is up slightly positive, net 0.01% positive. You get a significant payout of your principal. So these are a lot of ways that you can have equity-like exposure tied to indexes and be also very, very risk averse at the same time. So for clients that are somewhat risk averse and don't want to have the volatility of the markets, especially when we're riding at all-time highs and you don't think the market's going to go up a ton, but you also have a decent idea that the market might pull back a little bit and you want principal protection, it's a win-win scenario, because you have principal protection on the downside. You get to capture all the market uplift on the upside. So for risk-averse clients that want market exposure, and even clients that want to diversify their portfolio, we highly encourage using these strategies, because it's a diversifier in the portfolio. You get really great returns, but it's also extremely you get a lot of protection in the strategy as a whole. So a lot of different things and a lot of different solutions there. They're completely customizable. So we'd love to have conversations and to kind of describe more about how these structures work. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ping me on my site or my email. I'm always happy to answer those questions.
Yeah. What is that email again, Joe? If they, because I'm sure you get all kinds of requests. I want to make sure we get that out there. Yeah,
it's just Joe.Bulovas at RaymondJames.com. And I should have some material on my website about structures.
Yep.
They really are a phenomenal piece of the puzzle. I wouldn't be bringing this to you guys if it wasn't. It's a really phenomenal tool to have at your disposal.
Yeah, and look, there's no better time than now, of course. I mean,
and they also typically aren't offered on your discount brokerages. So your Fidelity's, Vanderbilt, Schwab, chances are you're not going to have a full suite at your disposal. That's where the value with working with us comes into play, is we can get every single offering A to Z in the world that's approved on our platform, that's battle tested, has a track record of success, bring it to your doorstep, make it work for you, and do some great work there.
There you have it. So you can email Joe, head on over to his website as well if you'd like to contact him. You mentioned risk-averse clients, and it's funny. Clark said they're not risk-averse. So, I think that was a big part of it's been a big part of their season. It was a big part of the deal yesterday. Obviously, Vandy getting the win, bye week this week. So getting that cold tub, like you said, Joe, get your Pedialyte in, and we'll buckle up for the last couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, got to win the bye week, get as right as possible going in these next 2 weeks, because they're going to throw the kitchen sink. They're going to do anything they can to make a statement. So it's good. Got a big opportunity coming up.
Huge opportunity. Obviously, Vandy 8-2, and we'll see what happens, man. But buckle up for the rest of the season. Joe, good stuff, man. Obviously, big thanks to Jordan Matthews for hopping in with us, and thank you to you for setting that deal up. But that's Joe Bulovas. Again, you can see him over there at Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. Also at the Vandy games, at practices as well. So he's easy to find. I'm Billy.
I'm around, man. I'm around.
Yeah.
So is Billy too.
I'm around too. So we'll be. I mean, obviously, we're gonna keep this thing rolling. We may have some off-season things to do as well, but looking forward to having some conversations with you guys, and continuing to kind of get some of your ideas as well about how we can continue this and improve this thing as well. So looking forward to it. But that's Joe Bulovas. I'm Billy Derrick. We'll see you guys next time on another edition of Star V Sundays.